Hello, my name is Dan Richardson, and today we will be talking about Guillermo Del Toro's Frankenstein. So this movie stars Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, Mia Goth, and many more, as Guillermo Del Toro retells the classic, I believe her name is Mary Shelley, story, Frankenstein. And yeah, this film, of course, is about Victor Frankenstein, a brilliant but egotistical scientist, brings a creature to life in a monstrous experiment that ultimately leads to the undoing of both the creature and the tragic creation. Or yeah, both the creator and his tragic creation. Forgive me, I'm trying not to get hit by these Lego people. But yeah, this, like I said, has a star-studded cast. Absolutely, I guess, unsurprising if you're a Guillermo del Toro fan. And yeah, I really liked this film for the most part. I do have my criticisms, but I kind of want to start with my positives. Oscar Isaac and I think the entire cast are doing an amazing job. Specifically, Jacob Elordi himself. I'd heard on TikTok that certain people who I imagine are probably more familiar with his work say things like, "Oh, I can totally see him in the makeup, this, that, and the other. I can totally see that it's him. He's too handsome to be this hideous monster, and he doesn't really." Sink into the role. I had heard that, and honestly, I could not disagree more. Now I'm not familiar with his other work, whether that be Priscilla. I think he's on Euphoria. He was in weirdly enough, according to Letterboxd, he was in the Kissing Booth movies, which are on Netflix. And honestly, I thought that he did a really good job at being Frankenstein. I realized that the monster is not called Frankenstein, even though every single person in human existence ever has called the monster Frankenstein, as well as Victor Frankenstein. But I don't care. I'm gonna call him Frankenstein because I can, and it's my channel. Anywho, I think that Jacob Elordi did a really good job as the monster Frankenstein. And while I can't really say what my favorite depiction of the monster has been, Jacob Elordi most certainly, I think, delivers a haunting performance as the monster and looks really good in the makeup. And honest to God, I cannot imagine Andrew Garfield in this role. I know Andrew Garfield was supposed to be Frankenstein, and then he had to not do it for whatever reason. I know that is a thing and that I've heard. But I cannot imagine, especially once he got into the movie, I was oh no, I cannot imagine Andrew Garfield as this character. I just can't. And yeah, I just thought it was really good. Especially his part. It's the movie is sort of split into two halves of Victor's side of the story, and then then Frankenstein's side of the story. And honestly, I thought the Frankenstein part was especially great. Then, of course, there's Victor himself, the man who creates the monster. Oscar Isaac is a good actor. I really like him. I think he's doing a good job here at being Victor. I obviously am a huge Star Wars fan, and I think he did a really good job as Poe Dameron, specifically in The Last Jedi. I think he's actually one of the few things I actually like about The Last Jedi, if I'm being frank. And he was also really good in Moon Knight. And I do ultimately like what he and Mia Goth specifically are doing with their characters, but I don't know. Victor himself is highly unlikable, and I don't know. Like it's just like I think that's the point. Is like the whole thing about this movie is, and like Netflix has even created like a whole sort of I guess category of who is the real monster to coincide with the release of this film, and like they've done the whole thing of like who is the real monster, you know, and like I get the idea is that what if Victor is the monster and Frankenstein is just like his like victim or whatever, and that's really cool, and you've seen it before, but it's still like either cool when it's done, creatively. And all that being said, I I don't really like the character of Victor Frankenstein himself. I think Oscar Isaac did a really good job, but I just don't really like I guess his interpretation of the man. That being said, more praises. This movie looks absolutely gorgeous. The cinematography is unparalleled. The honest to God, the what word am I looking for? The production design, the costuming is absolutely incredible. Mia Goth, I will say, this is kind of a funny thing to say, at least funny to me. She isn't really like my type, like Mia Goth herself isn't necessarily like my type, whatever that means, whether that's a comment or a compliment or an insult, I'll let you decide. But like that being said, she looks absolutely incredible in this film, and I think like the cinematographer and the costume designers did a really good job at making you feel like, oh yeah, she is like, you're immediately smitten with her just as much as Victor is, and you can completely see why he falls head over heels for her, and that's like really cool. And I don't know, there's just some things where it's like, okay, I don't really like the Victor half of this movie, but like I like other things like around the Victor stuff. And yeah, I don't think this is like a perfect movie. I do think there are elements of this movie that are perfect, but I sort of decided that like I maybe don't like it when Guillermo Del Toro goes like, I guess, weird. Granted, I haven't seen every single one of his movies. Of course, I hope to. I think next month I'm going to try and review like Pinocchio and stuff like that, and I would absolutely love to get like, I think it's probably undoubtable that that we're probably going to get Frankenstein in the Criterion Collection. So hopefully, when Frankenstein gets there, I can maybe get like I'll also maybe get good old I'll get Pinocchio as well, and maybe do like a double feature type of thing, because yeah, like this is a really great movie in a technical sense, but I just don't really like it as like a consumer, as a person who's like, oh, I want to watch this again immediately. This is probably going to be a movie, assuming it gets on Criterion and I can like own it physically. This is probably a movie that I would pop in every once in a while, every few months. Because while it is gorgeous, while there are great performances, I ultimately didn't like certain aspects of this movie, I didn't really like the character of Victor. I felt a bit distant, especially when he is the center focus. I felt a bit distant for like the first half of the movie. And yeah, like I like this movie, but I do have my problems with it. So it's recommended, especially if you like the work of Guillermo Del Toro, like his other work. Like I love Hellboy. I love both Hellboy movies. 2, I think of it more than, I love Hellboy 2 a bit more than Hellboy 1, but like I love Hellboy 2. I love Blade 2. I do like Pacific Rim, which I reviewed last week. Like, there are Guillermo Del Toro movies that I like. And I think Victor Frankenstein sort of sits somewhere in the middle of me liking it, you know, me loving it, and it not really being for me. And I don't know, that's kind of cool, I guess. Although I totally, I haven't seen The Shape of Water. That might be something that I want to do, maybe like next year. But like, I just need him to do, like, I would love to see his take on like The Wolfman, because I absolutely love werewolves. My favorite werewolf movie is probably Silver Bullet by Stephen King. And I don't know, I need more werewolf stuff. So maybe comment below, recommend some stuff, and tell me what streaming service it's on. Anywho, thank you so much for listening to me ramble about this movie. Comment below, let me know what you think about it. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Where does it sit within the pantheon of Guillermo Del Toro movies for you? You know, all that kind of good stuff. I'd love to hear from you. Remember that God made special. He loves you very much. Hope you have a very lovely day. Hope you had a very lovely week as always. What makes a man a man? Is it a soul? Is it whatever? I've actually thought about this recently, about the whole what makes us unique compared to other gods, creatures, is having a soul. But so yeah, what makes a man a man? Is it a soul? Is it his heart? What is it? That is the philosophical question that I will leave you guys with, because I love you, God loves you, and as always, TTFN.